Hey guys, I've got a new friend in the studio today that I'd like to introduce you to, and that is the new Blackstar HT5RH MK3 amplifier. Now, as you can see, this is a cool little studio desktop amplifier. It is made for desktop recording, and it's perfect if you're in a small room like I am here. This is like a 10 by 11 room, so it's perfect for that application. I'm going to give you a rundown of all the features, the channels. It says 2 channels, but there's actually more than that. I'll explain. And at the end of the video, I'm going to break down a few of the tracks that you heard in the full mix in the beginning here. I'm going to break those down individually so you can get an idea of what this will sound like when you plug it into your studio. Before we get started, I want to mention my sponsor for this video and give a huge shout out and thank you to the folks at Blackstar. You guys know I've been working with Blackstar for about a year now. It all started with their amped pedal, the MKIII. You guys have seen all my videos on that, and you also saw several videos after that on the Blackstar HT Venue MK3 half stack sitting behind me here. So thank you again to all the folks at Blackstar that I've been working with. You guys have been awesome, and this has been such a cool experience. So the HT5RH MK3 head is a real tube amplifier. Has 5 watts of power. You can actually dial it down to 0.5 watts if you want, but it is powered by one ECC83 tube, and you also have one 12 BH7 tube. Now you have 2 initial channels here. You've got a clean channel and you have an overdrive channel, but you have 2 other features that really kind of give you 2 more channels here. Each of these, the clean and the overdrive, they have a voicing, and this just gives it a little bit of boost, a little bit different tone, if you will. So again, it's kind of like really having 4 channels within the 2 here. Now let's start with the overdrive channel. So you've got a full EQ for the overdrive channel here, your bass, mids, treble, and you also have Blackstar's patented ISF control. Now this is a really cool feature, really cool tone shaping feature. So basically if you go counterclockwise on it all the way, you get more of, I guess, an American style tone. If you go clockwise all the way, it's more of a British style tone. Now let's head over to the clean channel. It does not share the EQ with the overdrive channel, but you do have your own tone knob for the clean channel. Now the HT5 also has built-in reverb, and I can say, and you guys have heard this in prior videos, I'm a pretty big fan of their reverb. Now let's take a look at the back of the amplifier. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. So number one, you notice this is just the amp head. So you might be wondering, well, what about the cab and what about the speaker and all that good stuff? So real quick, you can connect this to the speaker cabinet. You've got 3 options here. Of course, just make sure that it's the appropriate cab that you're plugging this into, but you do have that capability. However, you see mine sitting on the desktop. We are using Blackstar's cab rig software. They have their own speaker and cabinet simulation, and you've got an array of options for speakers, for cabs, going from 112, 110 to several 212, 210s, 410s, 412s. You've got UK style, American style, modern, classic, vintage. So you've got an array of options for cabinets. They also give you access to several different microphone sims that you can use here, and of course you can do on-app axis, off axis, and you can also adjust the EQ to the mic. You can use that with this amplifier. You see the cab rig, you've got 3 little options here, so you can program your favorite settings here, and you can just assign them 1, 2, 3 to this amplifier. Now, of course, within cab rig, you can make as many patches as you want. I have another video on how to use Blackstar's cab rig software. I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video. Now, you have a USB connection here as well. This is the input into the back of the amp, and the other goes into your computer via USB, and this is going to allow you to do 2 things. Number 1, it's going to allow you to assign what you create in cab rig to your amplifier. Remember the cab rig settings, the 1, 2, 3 that you have there. It also allows you to record with your amplifier without going through another interface. So in other words, this acts as its own audio interface if you want to record it that way. Now, if you're like me, I like to run this amplifier directly through my interface that I already have, which is a PreSonus interface. So you've got an input for that as well. And the reason I choose to do it that way is because I use that interface also for vocals, for bass guitar, and also for podcasting. So I'd rather just have the one interface and just run my amp head through that interface. Also, on the back of the HT5 here, you can see you have an effects loop. So you can plug in your time-based effects, like if you want more of like an ambient style reverb or delay or any kind of time-based effects that you want to put through the effects loop. Well, you've got that option as well. And you also have an input for the Blackstar Footswitch. Now let's break down a couple of those tones you heard in the full mix in the beginning of the video. We'll start with what I was playing with the Telecaster. That was the overdrive channel with the voicing off, and we had it at a pretty modest gain setting here. Really nice, gritty, just classic rock and roll sound there. You can do a lot with that tone. Now, for the lead in that same part that I was playing on the Tele there, all I did was I kept the voice switch off and I just turned the gain all the way up. Here's what that sounds like by itself. The next tone I want you to hear is with the voice switch on the overdrive channel here. And what I did for the rhythm, we'll share that first. For the rhythm, I backed the gain off, kind of back to where it was with the voice switch was off. But again, the voice switch is on this time. Now I switched guitars on that part as well. I wanted to play my Ibanez because I was going for more of that heavy metal sound. So I think we did a good job of that. Now, what I did next for the lead, same thing. The overdrive channel, the voicing is on. I just cranked the gain all the way up. Now, if you're looking for more of a modern metal or like death metal or any type of extreme metal tone, what I would recommend doing is what you do with most any amplifier is throw an overdrive pedal in front of it. And actually, I'm going to be doing that on the next video I make for this HT5 RH MK3 head here. When that video is available, I'll put it up here for you so you can go check that out. I also talked about my video on how to use the cab rig software. I'll throw that up there if you haven't seen that yet. And of course, stay tuned for more videos coming out on the Blackstar HT5 RH MK3 head. Guys, thanks for watching. Keep it metal and keep playing music.